Hello everyone, James from Video Gamers Legends. That's VG Legends. Now remember, I'm not a legend at all. I'm just a regular guy who's really passionate about video games. It's really great to be back, guys. I haven't been here for a while. I've had a lot of life changes that have gone on. Now, if you can see in the footage here, yes, I am going to be sharing with you my PS Vita collection, my favorite handheld of all time. But before we do that, I want to tell you what I am going to do for each video now. Every video that I make, essentially, every time I buy a new game, and I've been crazy on the collecting front of gaming, I will be giving back to the gaming community. So you will have a chance to win a copy of Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1, my second favorite video game of all time. Both discs are in here as well as the manual. Now, I have 2 copies of these, so I will be giving away some of my doubles. I will be giving away every video, anything from my collection. Doesn't matter the price. I'm not here to have a billion followers, guys. It really doesn't matter to me. I just love sharing with you and talking about video games. I'm so passionate about it. It's exciting to me. The gaming community has been nothing but kind to me, so I want to give back, and that's what I want to do. But all you have to do to have a chance to win these games, or this game first, is be subscribed to the channel. I have to have you be subscribed because I got to know that you're there. Leave a comment on this video and make sure you like the video. Also follow me on Twitter. It's www.twitter.com/VG_legends, because for the next video I make at the beginning, I will share who I picked as the winner. I will DM you on Twitter and I will mail this game out to you. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I hope you guys are excited about that, but let's get into it. Let's get into my PS Vita collection. Now, as you can see from the video footage here, I'm showing you my 2 models here. I have both the PS Vita 1000 and the PS Vita 2000. The PS Vita 1000 here that I have is the OLED model. It's in crimson red. Red is my favorite color. Just love that color. It just pops out there. The only bad thing about the PS Vita 1000, however, is it uses its own proprietary charger. So if you lose it or you break it, you're pretty much screwed and you're going to have to purchase a new one. It's a little bit thicker than the PS Vita Slim, but I love it just because of that screen here. And you can see from the footage here, basically I'm playing a game here and it's very vibrant and very colorful, so that OLED screen really pops out. The PS Vita 1000, I love. It's got a good grip on it and it feels good in your hands, and also you can pretty much find any charger laying around the house that you could use for it. As you can see here, I'm also using a iPhone port, so it's pretty much easy to use. So I do have both models there. All right, guys, I'm back now. I forgot to mention, if you hear outside, if you hear birds chirping, I have the window open. It's a beautiful day. It's a little hot in here, so I have the air coming in. So to my left, your right, if you hear some birds chirping, that's because I have the window open. Let's talk about my limited edition games for the PS Vita. Now, before I talk about the games, I have, let me show you what games I have here. I have Just Ignore Them and My Big Sister, which is a 2-game combo, 88 Heroes, Brotherhood United, and a Winter's Daydream. Now, before I talk about each game individually, I want to show you here what you get in these limited edition collections. Now, I found these limited edition collections from a channel called PS Vita at 2 a.m. James, his name, is the creator. Amazing channel. He always let me know on PlayAsia's website from his videos when these games were going to drop and at what time, so was able to purchase these games because of him. James, you're awesome. I will leave a link in the video description below of his channel. You have to check it out. It is the best PS Vita channel I have seen on YouTube. It's awesome. So With these limited editions, you get an original soundtrack and you get a certificate of authenticity. As you see in the footage here, we have all the games here that I show you, but it's hard to get the games out of the bottom and put them back in. So I only showed you an example of one. So just ignore them. And My Big Sister, the certificate of authenticity here, number 54, and it shows you how many copies they have made, 1,200. And also you get an original soundtrack for each game, which I think is really cool. So let's talk about these games because they're awesome. And I've played, I think there's only 2 of them I haven't played. So we'll start with Just Ignore Them. I haven't played My Big Sister yet, but Just Ignore Them is awesome. This is a bundle of 2 games, 2 in 1, which is awesome. So they're both horror games. Just Ignore Them is basically a game where you're this character, this gentleman, and you start out in your house. Now, it's really creepy. It's a side-scrolling horror action game, now with puzzles included. Now, there's these monsters that are chasing you. They're chasing you, they're chasing your family members. You have a way of actually escaping your house, but then when you actually do and you try to get away and that you think you're okay, the monsters tend to follow you. So you're going through this journey and trying to figure out why they are attacking you, attacking your friends, attacking your family members. You also meet this girl who also helps you on your journey as well. It's a really actual fun game, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the story as well. For an indie game, it's really, really great. Now, 88 Heroes, I love this game. This game is so fun. 88 Heroes, you play as an array of 88 different superheroes. Now, it's funny because a lot of them are mimicked off real superheroes, but each hero has a different special ability to beat the enemies. Now, there's different levels, and there's 88 levels total, and in each level, you start out at a starting point, and you have to side scroll, and it's a platforming action game, so you have to side scroll to the end of each level to a doorway, and once you get to that doorway, you complete that level. There's different things you can earn in the game too. There's big coins. There's 88 big coins total in all the 88 levels. Not 88 per level, but 88 total that you can collect for collectibles. There's also an alien that controls everything, and at the bottom of the screen you can see him, and he's got a little timer on it that says 88 minutes. I believe that's because you have to beat the game at 88 minutes. But every single time one of your heroes dies, you quickly respawn and get a new hero. But if you go through all the 88 heroes and you die with all of them, the game is over. It's actually a really fun platforming game. Brotherhood United. Now, this game is super fun. Now, you play with your brother and you're a rebel and trying to defeat the militia and go after them. And basically, what's great about this game is it's co-op, but it's a side-scrolling action run and gun game, and it's really self-explanatory. The graphics are pretty decent for a little indie game. You're side-scrolling, you're finding different weapons, you're finding health, and you're saving different civilians who are being captured by this militia, and you're destroying them. You're destroying tanks and robots and soldiers. It's really fun. It's really awesome. Now, this is the last one. Now, this was a Winner's Daydream, the last of 2 of the original PS Vita games that East Asia Soft was actually making. One of 2 of the last complete in physical manner. There's not, I know Limited Run isn't doing it anymore. Super Rare Games doesn't make any PS Vita games. So as of right now, I believe there's no company making PS Vita physical games anymore, and this is one of the 2 of the last ones that I snagged. I couldn't get the last one because on the website, they're pretty in high demand and they go pretty quickly when you're on there if you don't get them in time. So that is my limited editions. Let's move on to the next games. All right, the next games we're going to talk about here, we have Uncharted Golden Abyss. Now, I believe this was a launch title for the PS Vita. Now, this game is amazing. I'll show you some footage of some of the visuals that I've captured on this game. The great thing about this is they were actually making a full-fledged Uncharted game at the time for the PS Vita. That's why I'm blown away by it. It tries to use a lot of, since it was at launch, tries to use a lot of the gimmicky controls, like the in the back, the touchscreen controls, but it does really well in this game. And I was blown away by it, just the way that it looks, and the story is incredible. So if you have a chance, if you have a PS Vita and you don't have this game, I would highly recommend it. Need for Speed Most Wanted. When Forza Horizon 5 came out, I was obsessed with that game on my Xbox Series X. So I got obsessed with racing games for a while. So I was playing this game at work on my breaks, and I gotta tell you, to have a full-fledged open-world racing game, kind of like Forza, in a different way. Obviously, you can crash and do different things, but obviously you get new cars and you do missions just like Forza. And it is a lot of fun, and I was addicted to this game for a couple months. This definitely is the best racing game. I would recommend it on the Vita. If you like racers, you gotta have this one. Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. The only downfall of this game is it got a bad rap. Activision was trying to make their own game, their Call of Duty game, basically for the PS Vita. But I had a lot of trouble because the maps weren't that good, the graphics were kind of lackluster, and it got a lot of, hate because the campaign just wasn't really that good. And it is okay. I actually still do not have Killzone, which is seen as the best shooter on Vita, and I do not know why I don't have it. I have to get that game. But the great thing about this game is the multiplayer. The multiplayer is actually really fun. It's just like any other Call of Duty game. And I'm telling you right now, you can get on servers today. I get on servers all the time, and if you want to play a multiplayer game on Vita, I'm pretty sure there will be people online playing this game. So you have that option, so that's really cool. Borderlands 2, we know what Borderlands is. I've never played this version on the PS Vita yet. When I got my PS Vita Slim, this came in the bundle when I purchased it off eBay, but I've heard that this version isn't very good. My friend Ryan, his favorite games are Borderlands games. He loves them. Borderlands 3 he didn't really like, but he said this is the GOAT, Borderlands 2. But apparently the PS Vita version isn't that great. Gravity Rush. This is an action adventure game, now story-driven game. This game is awesome, and it's got a little open world to it. Now you play as this character Cat. Now the biggest thing about this game is the visuals are fantastic. It's kind of like Horizon Dawn, where you fight these kind of like robots, and they're like the enemies. But what's great about it is her mechanic of being able to manipulate gravity. That's the whole gist of this game and why it's fun. And you can use that to your advantage to beat your enemies. Super fun game there. Dragon's Crown. I've played this. It's a nice RPG for the PS Vita. I've played it a couple times. The only problem I have with it, the characters look awesome, the moves are really fun, and your different abilities are awesome for all your characters. The problem is this is the Japanese version. Now, most Japanese versions of PS Vita games, if you play them on your Vita, you can you go into options and you can use it as have English in your settings. This one you can't. You have to actually have the English version. Now, some of these, I buy the Japanese versions because they're cheaper. If you go on eBay, like we all know PS Vita games are really expensive right now. So if you go on eBay to buy them, they're really expensive, the US versions, so why not get the Japanese versions? But you gotta double check to make sure that they have that English option, or you're gonna be screwed and you're not gonna be able to understand what they say. Okay, let's get on to the next games. Now, one of the main reasons why the PS Vita is my favorite handheld now of all time is because it introduced me to a lot of different genre of games. Now, that would be JRPGs, anime-style games, and visual novels. Now, I know the Switch is coming around with a lot of those games, but originally it was the PS Vita. Those were the games that they made in Japan. And they're awesome games. So I recommend, if you're going to get a PS Vita, get some of these best games. Now, my favorite JRPG of all time is Persona 4 Golden. So you play as this character in a whole year span of his life. Now you're living with your different family members because in this town that a lot of murders are taking place in this town, and your uncle, I believe, or I don't know if is he your uncle? I don't remember. I haven't played it in a long time, but he has a daughter as well that you're living with. And he is a detective in the police force there at this town, and he's trying to solve these murders. Now, when you get there, you meet a various array of friends. Now, your social relationship with these friends and other people around the town, that when you walk around and you learn about these people, is what's really important in this game. And that's why it's so fun, because that builds up your strength and levels up your abilities and your characters called personas. Now, when you go into this different world, where you can go into these dungeons. You go through a television to get there. A lot of your friends are being captured by these murderers, and you have to go save them. So you go into these dungeons, and once you touch an enemy, you come into the turn-based combat, and you can use the personas to your advantage to fight these enemies. Now, I went back in these dungeons, and I farmed a lot to level up my personas so I could be a lot stronger, because it can be difficult. But the story's incredible, the graphics are incredible, the gameplay is incredible. I totally recommend this game. It is seen as one of the best games on PS Vita. Now, Child of Light, I was looking up really good RPGs for the PS Vita, and this is one of them, so I decided to grab it. I haven't played it yet, but the visuals look amazing, the turn-based combat looks amazing, and the story looks great, so I'm really excited to play that one. Now, here we go. The Holy Grail. Yes, the entire Danganronpa series. Oh man, these little anime puzzle solving crime games, so awesome. So you're this gentleman, you get captured in the school. I played the first one, beat this one, and I'm into the second one. I still haven't played these two yet, but these are amazing games. I totally recommend them. So you basically got to solve these crimes, and you're trapped with these random people in this school, and this little bear character who is really creepy has you captured, and you gotta find these array of puzzles. You gotta solve mysteries, and he basically tells you the only way you can get out is if you murder your friends, you can graduate from the school and you can escape. So people start killing people off, and you got to solve the crimes. You go into these one scenes like where you have like the court, and you got to actually solve them, and you got to go through. Oh my God. When you solve the puzzles, you get different, ideas of, who killed who. So it's crazy. Awesome games. Just two more stacks of games to show off here. So we have Gundam Extreme Verse Force. Now, this game's fun. You play as basically like these transformer-looking robots, and you have melee attacks with swords, or you have guns, and you can pick different ones. The only bad thing about it, it's in Japanese, so when I get to the menu and I want to look up how to upgrade my weapons and how to do that, when I get points for different, when I play different level multiplayer matches or the main missions, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what it says. But this is another example of one of the games that if you want to get online for the servers and you want to play against people, there's usually people playing, and it's actually pretty fun, and it's easy to understand in that regard. So I would recommend that. And it came with a really cool card as well, I believe. Army Corps of Hell. I haven't played this game yet, but this is one of the best, seen as one of the really good games on PS Vita. The only problem is I believe it's an example of one of the games where, Sony's not really supporting online anymore, so you can't really play it online anymore, and that's where this game shines. So that's what stinks about it. So I haven't even checked it out because of that reason yet, but I've heard it's actually pretty good. Silent Hill Book of Memories. I love this game. Now, there's snippets of, cutscenes of the story of kind of like Silent Hill-esque. A lot of people didn't like this game when it came out because they were like, oh, that's not a Silent Hill game. That's not like Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 2, like the GOATs, the really good Silent Hill games. But for what it is, it's basically a dungeon crawler. And you play as a character and you go through, and it's got like Silent Hill-esque enemies, and you get different weapons, you go into these different rooms, and you got to solve puzzles as well. But it's actually, for what it is, I like it. It's actually really fun. Like, you go through this dungeon, you beat a bunch of enemies, you get to a puzzle, you got to solve the puzzle to go to the next area. I believe the gentleman is having a dream when you're doing this. I don't remember. But the boss battles, when you get to certain ends of dungeons, the boss battles are epic, and they're actually really, really fun. So I love this game because I love horror games, and for a horror game on the Vita, on the go, I think it's a lot of fun. Corpse Party Blood Drive. Can you get darker than one of these games? I never played the first one, but at the beginning of the game, it gives you a gist of what's kind of going on. It kind of gives you a recap from the last game. And, it's a top-down, like, side-scrolling game. Your heads, the characters look kind of funny. You have, like, really big heads or, like, little tiny characters. But you go to this old school, and it's dark and creepy, where the school like burned down and a bunch of murders took place there, and you're trying to figure out what really went on, because you just have to. So you go back there, and it's really crazy. You can go up to, there's ghosts in it, basically, are the enemies. Now, you can go up to an enemy and be standing over an enemy, and you click a button and this icon will come up and it'll tell you how they actually died. It's really, really dark. It'll say like bludgeoned by, by a chair and then stabbed in the chest. Like, it's really, really dark. And the ending of this game is like, it's really crazy and really creepy. Definitely recommend it if you love really true gory horror games. Virtue's Last Reward. Now, this is a series of games, if you don't like the 999 games or those types of games, believe that's another one of the games in the series. This is the only one that I have. This is a really good visual novel horror game. Basically, you get trapped and you get captured, kind of like Danganronpa. You get captured and you wake up and they knock you out. It shows you the beginning. You get captured in your car and you get drugged. And you wake up in an elevator next to this girl and you're wondering what's going on. But basically, you gotta solve puzzles. You gotta solve, like, some of the characters get murdered during this thing. There's a rabbit, I believe, not a bear, but there's a rabbit who's talking to you behind the mask of the person who captured you, so it's kind of creepy. Really good story. It took me about 30 hours. The puzzles were actually kind of hard. I had to put this game down a couple times because the puzzles actually got really hard. All right, I know this video is going on a little bit longer, but I know people love PS Vita. I have one more stack here, guys. So we have Mortal Kombat, the version on PS Vita. When I play Mortal Kombat, I actually prefer playing, Mortal Kombat 2 on like the Super Nintendo, or I used to play it on the Game Gear when I was a kid in the 90s back in the day. But this is cool because you can play as Kratos, and the fighting and the graphics in this game are really fun if you love Mortal Kombat. So I figured I'd pick it up because it was for a cheap price. So we have Batman's Arkham Origins Blackgate, which is, they call it a 2.5 game because it's not fully in 3D. Some of the parts are just side scrolling, but you have all the mechanics that you do in all the Arkham games, and for what it is, I love this Batman game for PS Vita. The story's really good. It's a lot of fun. Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus. The Ninja Gaiden games on the PS Vita are actually really fun. I prefer usually the original Ninja Gaiden on the NES or the ones for Xbox. I believe the 3D ones were awesome. But this one's really cool. If you want to do like a lot of bloodshed and a lot of huge combos, this game is nuts with the fast ability and the ninja combos you can do, and it's slicing and dicing people up. It's actually really fun. Little Deviants. Now, I just bought this game because it was really, really cheap. And I think the cover looks cool, but it's just basically an array of mini games. But some of them can actually be fun and quite challenging, I've heard. Raymond Origins. You got to know what Raymond is. Raymond is a classic. Used to play it on the PlayStation, but awesome side-scrolling platforming games. Graphics, visuals look beautiful on the OLED Vita. Such a great game. And then the last game I have here, guys, is Little Big Planet for the PS Vita. I believe this was also a launch title. Just like, Uncharted, it used a lot of the gimmicky controls, the touch controls, the back screen controls. But just like that game, it works really well in this game. And Little Big Planet, I would actually argue this is one of the best Little Big Planet games ever made, other than the ones on like PS3 or the other ones. But, just a charming side-scrolling game, a lot of fun. Love playing these games, just very relaxing. So that's it, guys. That is my PS Vita collection. And remember, guys, leave a comment below, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and you'll have a chance to win Resident Evil 2 on the PS1, and I'll let you know in the next video who the winner is. And thank you, guys. And as always, whatever you do that is involved with gaming, always keep it legendary. We'll see you for the next one, guys. Peace out.